Welcome! In this explainer, we're going to walk through the essential security configuration for your Windows 11 computer. Getting these steps right is absolutely critical for making sure your system is secure and ready for you to get to work.
Okay, let's dive right in. And I want to be perfectly clear about this. These settings aren't just suggestions or optional tweaks. They are a mandatory requirement before you can even begin to handle any patient health information. It's really important to understand that these system settings are actively monitored and logged. If they aren't configured correctly, it can lead to some pretty serious consequences, including an automatic audit failure. So our goal here is to make sure we get this right, together. So why are we so strict about this? Well, it all comes down to HIPAA. That's the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's the law of the land in the U.S. for protecting patient privacy. And these settings are a huge part of our commitment to upholding it.
Here's what we're going to cover. We'll walk through 5 required steps: getting BitLocker encryption on, enabling storage sense, making sure your firewall is up, setting up auto lock, and then requiring a password when the computer wakes up. After that, we'll wrap up with some really important compliance reminders.
All right, let's get started with our first and, honestly, most critical step: enabling drive encryption using a tool called BitLocker. So why is this such a big deal? Well, think of BitLocker as a key that scrambles everything on your hard drive into unreadable code. If your laptop ever gets lost or stolen, all that data is just complete gibberish to anyone who tries to access it. It's really our #1 defense if the physical device falls into the wrong hands.
Okay, so to turn it on, just follow these steps. You're going to open your settings, head over to Privacy and Security, and then click Device Encryption. From there, just flip the toggle to on and follow the prompts. Now, pay really close attention to that last step, saving your recovery key. Now, you might run into a little snag. Some versions of Windows 11 hide this setting in a different spot. If you get there and you don't see Device Encryption, don't panic. We've got a backup plan. Just follow this next set of instructions instead.
So the other way to do this is to go into Settings, then System, then About. Scroll down a bit and you'll see BitLocker. Click that and you'll be able to turn on BitLocker right there for your C drive. The end goal is exactly the same. We need that encryption turned on. Okay, I really need you to listen to this next part because it is absolutely crucial. You must save your recovery key. When the system prompts you, we strongly recommend you print a physical copy and store it somewhere safe, according to company policy. Here's the thing, IT cannot recover this key for you. I'll say that again, we cannot get it back. If you lose it, you will be permanently locked out of all your data. So please, just pause here for a moment, go back and double-check that BitLocker encryption is active and says on for your C drive. Don't move on to the next step until you've confirmed this.
All right, with encryption taken care of, let's move on to step 2. We're going to enable a handy feature called Storage Sense.
Now, you might think of this as just a simple cleanup tool, but from a security standpoint, it's really important. As you work, your computer creates all these little temporary files, kind of like digital sticky notes. The problem is, sometimes those notes can have little pieces of sensitive information left on them. Storage Sense just automatically and safely shreds those old files for you, which really helps lower our overall security risk. This one's super easy. Just head back to Settings, go to System, and then Storage. You'll see a toggle for Storage Sense. Just flip that to on. It's also a good idea to click into the settings themselves just to make sure that the automatic cleanup is actually scheduled to run.
Okay, next up, we need to make sure your computer's digital bodyguard, its firewall, is on duty and ready to protect you from network threats.
This one is completely non-negotiable. The Microsoft Defender Firewall is like a gatekeeper for your computer, and it blocks all sorts of suspicious traffic trying to get in from the internet. It absolutely must be turned on at all times. Checking this is easy. Just click the Start menu and start typing Windows Security. When it pops up, open it and head to the Firewall and Network Protection section. This will show you the status for the different kinds of networks you connect to.
And when you get to this screen, what you're looking for is the word on, usually with a nice green check mark, next to all 3 of these network types: domain, private, and public. If you see that any of them are off, click on it right away and toggle that firewall to the on position.
Let's move on to the next one. We're going to set up your system to automatically lock itself down whenever you have to step away.
This is all about preventing what we call walk-up access. You get a phone call or you have to run to the printer. You can't leave sensitive data just sitting on an unlocked screen for anyone to see. This setting makes sure your computer locks itself down quickly.
You'll find these settings under Power and Battery, and then Screen and Sleep. Here are the rules. If your computer is on battery power, the screen has to be set to turn off in 5 minutes or less. When it's plugged in, you get a little more time, 10 minutes maximum.
And just to be crystal clear, your screen has to turn off automatically. Selecting the Never option is a direct violation of our security policy, and it's a guaranteed way to fail an audit. So please double-check this one and make sure it's set correctly.
We're at our final configuration step. This one goes hand in hand with the auto lock we just set up. It makes sure your computer stays secure after that screen goes dark.
This setting basically closes a security loophole. When your screen turns off or your computer goes to sleep, this makes sure that a password is required to get back in. It guarantees that you, and only you, can wake it up and get back to work. You'll find this one in your account settings. Go to Sign In Options, and then look for a drop-down menu that asks if you've been away, when should Windows require you to sign in again? The only correct answer, the only one you can choose, is when PC wakes up from sleep.
Perfect. Now that we've gone through all 5 settings, let's just do a quick recap of the really important compliance rules you have to follow from now on.
Think of this as your ongoing responsibility. These aren't just set it and forget it things. You can never turn off encryption or the firewall. You can never set that screen timeout to never. And, of course, you can never ever share your password. Just remember, all of these settings are logged and checked.
By following these rules, you're doing more than just checking a box. You are playing a critical role in how we, as a team, protect patient privacy and keep the trust that people have placed in us. So thank you for taking this so seriously.
So before you move on to your next task, please just take one final moment. Run through each of those 5 sections in your head one more time. Double-check your settings now, make sure you are 100% compliant, and then you'll be ready to go.